Hey beloved, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Doña, aka Doña the Light. Welcome to one of many very short form, straight to the point how-to videos that I'll be posting here on my channel to supplement some of the longer, more podcast type videos that I'm usually posting. If you found me here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's a great free way to support my channel. If you're interested in supporting me in ways that require money, please buy some merch. The link to my shop will be in the description below. And if you're interested in getting some guidance and support via life coaching, I'm accepting new clients. The application to work with me will also be below in the description. So today's video is going to be 3 signs that you are a people pleaser and tangible ways to heal from those people pleasing tendencies. Now, this is not an complete exhaustive list of all the things or traits that people pleasers tend to have, but just let's start off with 3 and then we can kind of go from there to figure out what to do moving forward. So the very first trait is that you constantly apologize for things. You find yourself constantly saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, or apologizing for things that aren't even your fault or that aren't your responsibility whatsoever. Things that are minuscule and make no sense, like when someone complains about the weather and you're like, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Typically, these kinds of things or this constant apologizing is a way for us to place blame and say that we are responsible and we're sorry in a way to, or in an effort to appease the other person or the other party. Sometimes this comes from growing up in an environment in which the people around us were very unpredictable and their moods were very erratic. So in order to kind of protect ourselves in that situation, we just immediately apologize at the smallest sign of any kind of inconvenience, right? So the reason why this is so detrimental is because it essentially devalues any type of apology that we genuinely want to share. If we genuinely hurt someone's feelings and we share that we're sorry and we apologize, it almost doesn't mean anything because we're constantly apologizing and saying we're sorry for everything. So tangible steps that you can take to heal this specific people-pleasing trait is to come to a level of awareness. When you feel the urge or the need or the desire to say, I'm sorry, and you can use the people around you and ask them to kind of hold you accountable for this as well and bring it to your attention, because chances are if you say it with everything, it's become such a normal part of your communication or the way that you interact with people that you don't even recognize how often you do it. So in addition to you coming into awareness, you can ask the people around you to support you as well and saying, hey, you just said I'm sorry. But essentially you want to come to awareness and ask yourself before you say I'm sorry, or maybe right after, what am I saying I'm sorry for? Why am I apologizing? Is this just a knee-jerk reaction because I can feel someone getting sort of uncomfortable or someone express some sort of complaint or concern about something? Or am I genuinely apologizing about something? Did I do something that genuinely warranted an apology? And the more that you call yourself out, the more that the other people around you who love you call you out and bring it to your attention, the better you can recognize that this is unnecessary. And you can move forward with not saying it so often. Another thing that I just want to throw in there really quickly, as far as all of these signs and the tangible steps, is consider the fact that it's taken you years to accumulate these habits. So give yourself time to break them. It's not going to happen overnight. Just because you come into awareness doesn't mean that immediately overnight you're going to be able to prevent yourself from saying I'm sorry. But that's sign number 1. You say you're sorry too much or constantly. Tangible step is to take the time to acknowledge when you say that you're sorry. Ask people around you for support. You could even maybe journal about it. Why am I saying I'm sorry? Am I genuinely sorry? How often have I said I'm sorry today? You know what I mean? Sometimes adding those numbers really helps to bring into consideration or to view the seriousness of, you do this, 200 times a day and it doesn't mean anything. You're just doing it because you're trying to avoid, someone else being uncomfortable or something like that. So sign number 2 is that you ignore or withhold your feelings and how you really feel in order to appease other people. Again, this could come from a plethora of different things, but often this comes from us not being given the space to share how we really feel. And also when we have expressed or shared how we really feel, we're met with, ooh, it's not that serious, etc., etc. Either our feelings are dismissed or ignored, or the other person reacts in a way in which their body language or the way that they respond shows that they are uncomfortable and they don't want to be a part of the conversation. So in an effort to keep that person close to us and continue building their relationship, or however you'd like to describe it, we say, oh, it's not that serious, you know, I was just joking or whatever, and we sweep it under the rug, we minimize it, we do all these things, and we are completely dismissing, you know, the truth, which is how we feel and the way that we can, you know, communicate or express our emotions. Tangible way to heal from this people-pleasing tendency is first and foremost to find some sort of outlet. Even if you can't communicate to that person directly, either begin writing in a journal, recording videos of yourself speaking, or recording voice notes. When you find that you sweep your feelings under the rug, or when someone asks you, how are you doing? And you say, oh, I'm good, I'm fine. But in reality, you're not. In any of those situations, go directly to your outlet, whether it be, again, audio notes, journaling, videos, etc. Find some sort of way to actually express and say how you are feeling. Some sort of way. It could be as simple as so-and-so did this and it made me feel this. It could be just that simple. Another really great part of this solution is it helps you practice naming your emotions and becoming more familiar with what you're feeling and what caused you to feel that way. Moving through, you know, maybe eventually after you get to a certain period, you'll be able to communicate these things to certain people. But remember, this is for you, because emotional suppression is going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt that other party. So this is in an effort to heal you and make sure that you are operating in a way that feels good and moving through the world in a way that feels good. If you're never able to communicate it to a certain person or to certain people, that would be okay, as long as, you know, your emotions don't impact them. But that's a whole nother video for a whole nother conversation. Sign number 3 is that you go through great lengths to avoid confrontation and conflict at all costs. Now, we can all agree that confrontation and conflict do not feel good. They do not make us feel comfortable, and they are not situations that we want to put ourselves in. However, we can also agree that there are situations that feel uncomfortable but that need to be addressed. So if there are certain people in our lives that we avoid speaking to, we avoid sharing things with because we know that anything that we share with this person is going to be a problem, we want to take our time in figuring out, okay, who in our lives do we avoid the most? There might be a couple people, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your mother-in-law, maybe it's your brother. There might be certain people in your lives who you specifically avoid. There may be certain people in our lives, you can probably think of a few in your life right now that we avoid interacting with at all costs. The problem isn't necessarily that we avoid the person. The problem is that we are avoiding interaction with them because of the conflict. Because that conflict or that discomfort is probably illustrating something that needs to be discussed. It's probably illustrating some sort of boundary that's crossed or some sort of way in which this person is doing something that does not feel good to you. And so it needs to be addressed. Even though it's uncomfortable, it needs to be addressed. So first and foremost, take into account or make a list, either physical or a mental list. Who in my life do I avoid at all costs because I just don't want to argue with them? I don't want to have a conversation because it's going to be completely cyclical and they're just going to be attacking me and all of these things. Who is it? There might just be one person, there might be a few people, but note down who these people are and then journal to yourself, you know, again, either written, video form, audio, voice note, whatever. Journal in whatever kind of way feels good to you. Why specifically do I avoid this person? Is it because they call me a nickname that I've always hated? Is it because they're constantly commenting on the way that my body looks? Is it because they tell me that I spoil my children and it bothers me to no end? You know, what is the specific reason that you avoid this person? And once you get to a clear, succinct reasoning, determine whether or not it would be worth it to communicate this to this person in the form of a boundary. Not necessarily that, hey, I don't like talking to you because blank. You want to be sure that you communicate it in a way that communicates a boundary. You know, it really hurts my feelings, or I really do not appreciate it when you do blank. The next time you do blank, here's how I will respond. And typically that response could be removing yourself from the conversation. It could be not speaking to that person for a certain length of time. You get to determine what the consequence is for them crossing your boundary. But the important thing is that if this is someone who kind of has to be in your life for whatever reason, that you're communicating this boundary, and that you have the opportunity to share this with this person so that you don't have to be miserable and uncomfortable every single time they come around. Does that make sense? I sure hope so. All right, my loves, this has been great. I'll be posting more videos like this. Once again, if you found my YouTube channel, please subscribe. It's a great free way to support my channel. If you would like to support me in a way that requires money, the link to my Etsy shop will be down below. I have lots of wonderful mental health focused items, as well as some healing stones and jewelry that I've created myself. But yeah, I'll be back every single day, always posting my streams from Twitch that I stream every single day, Sunday through Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, and usually 8 a.m. Pacific on Fridays, because I co-stream with a friend of mine. But yeah, so that's 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Central Time. And yeah, I appreciate you watching. Let me know your thoughts, agreements, disagreements, and all of that stuff in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in having some guidance, or you're looking for some support, either in the area of people pleasing or different areas, I am a life coach and I'm accepting new clients. The application link to work with me is also going to be below in the description. But otherwise, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.